Welcome to Podband
The
Pipecast.
premiere Pipe Band podcast.
Yay! Happy Spooktober.
Yes.
Which is October for people who aren't cool. Yeah. So, you know what I like in October?
Spooks?
I mean, not really.
Oh.
I don't like to be scared. But see, the thing is, like, October is the one time that I will watch spooky movies with Sean. The one time, because I hate scary movies of all kinds.
But they're so fun.
But like, being scared is not fun. I don't like that.
They're just movies, Kaylee.
I tell my brain that when it gives me nightmares. So, what we decided to do, we were talking about what to do for a Halloween episode, and we're like, let's watch a scary pipe band movie.
And there are none.
Like, I don't know what I expected.
At least one.
Yeah, like
one weird, obscure one, maybe.
And then I thought, let's watch a pipe band movie.
Yes. And there are none.
There are none that aren't documentaries. Like, I know people have done, like, but, like, documentaries are boring.
That's not fun.
I want something with, like, a narrative, a fictional universe and stuff. So we're like, all right, let's watch a Scottish movie. Let's watch a scary Scottish movie. And that was something that was possible to find. So, a warning, this movie is not for children.
Rated R.
There is a lot of nudity in this movie.
All the boobs.
Which I did not realize, because the movie that we're talking about that we watched is The Wicker Man. Not the Nicolas Cage one.
No, the 1973 version.
With Christopher Lee.
Yes.
And I had never heard of this movie, but our producer Alex was like...
You never heard of The Wicker Man? Or like the original
I didn't know
one?
It was the
original.
Okay. Like, I thought it just came from Nicolas Cage and the bees, not the bees. And like, I've seen that scene, but I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah!
Because it's scary, and like, why would I watch that?
That's not that scary. You could watch it.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
It.
Well, I guess this movie... Yeah, Alex is like, no. So this movie was not actually scary, I don't think.
Yeah, no.
It was creepy, but it wasn't scary. But there's a lot of nudity, and yeah, it's a lot. But it is set in Scotland.
Yes.
And there are bagpipes.
There's kilts. Scottish accents.
Yes. There's Christopher Lee. So yeah. So yeah.
Let's talk about this movie.
Let's talk about this movie. Spoiler alert. Everything in this is going to be a spoiler. So if you want to watch this movie, you can pause this episode.
Watch it real quick. It's on Amazon Prime Movies.
Mm-hmm. And watch it and come back and press play. So we'll just wait for you to do that real quick.
Yeah.
So let's
we're gonna sit here for an hour and a half while you watch that. Don't even worry about pausing it.
No.
Because we're gonna sit here. Yeah, make sure you click on the 73 edition.
Yeah. Okay, are you there? All right, yeah. Yeah, this is 1973 one.
Yeah, let's do that one.
No, that's the Nicolas Cage one. Don't go to that one.
Please.
Okay, I think
they got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome back after you watched that movie.
I hope you enjoyed the film.
Man, what a wild ride. Now that you've been fully warned of all spoilers, this is gonna all be spoilers.
It's not spoilers because they've seen it.
True. If you haven't seen it, and you don't want to watch it, then like just keep listening, because we've watched it so you don't have to. Man. So it starts out with a little note, sometimes if people film a movie on site somewhere, they're like, oh, thank you to the residents of such and such place for their cooperation in making this movie. Well, it starts off by saying the producer would like to thank the Lord Summer Isle and the people of his island off the west coast of Scotland for this privileged insight into their religious practices and for their generous cooperation in the making of this film.
Shout out to Lord Summer Isle.
Shout out to Lord Summer Isle, who is suspiciously looks a lot like Christopher Lee.
Yeah, you know,
with a bad wig.
must be a grand relative.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, so being that after that, I'm guessing that we're gonna get a nice insight into Scottish culture.
Yes.
Being that this is a real place, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. But if it was...
Wait, hold on. It's not?
I mean...
Who are we thanking then?
We had to look this up because I was like, whew, if this is a real place, oh man. And apparently the new Wicker Man is not in Scotland.
No.
And this like just baffled me that this original movie is in Scotland. Like I don't know why that's so crazy to me. But anyway.
There are Scottish movies, Kaylee. Those exist.
They exist. The British make movies?
Yes.
They don't just make Doctor Who?
It's Doctor Who, Sherlock. That's it.
Oh, and Downton Abbey.
Oh, yeah, Downton
okay.
Abbey.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the movie starts off.
The plane.
There's a plane.
And then the credits.
And there's this music playing while this plane is flying over some beautiful Scottish scenery, and that's very nice.
It's a musical, by the way.
They have one song that they licensed for this movie, apparently, and it's the same, like, 70s song, because remember, this is 73. It's the same song. We're pretty sure it's the same song.
I'm pretty sure it's the same one.
At several points in this movie, whenever they need background music, it's like this song. So just imagine a 70s movie song.
About corn.
About corn,
Yeah.
Yeah. I did notice all of the music in this movie is very much about, like, harvest and, like, there's a lot of innuendos about that. So you can let yourself imagine what that would be. So, yeah. He lands the plane.
Gotta get the dinghy.
He lands the plane, yeah, and it's a plane that lands in the water, so that's
Seaplane.
cool. Seaplane, I see it.
Yes, I see it. I plane it.
So it lands in the water, and this guy gets out, and he's met there. Okay, on the shore, there's this
dock.
There's a dock.
Yes.
There's the old man brigade. There's a lot of old men there, just a lot of old men. And they're yelling at him about how he can't park here because...
He can't park his plane here.
Yeah, get off my lawn.
Private property.
Yeah. It's private property. This whole island is owned by one guy, so, like, you
Lord
can't...
Summer Isle.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
Yes.
The Isle of Summer Isle. So, but he's like, I have permission to be here because I'm the police.
Classic police.
As police do, you know. I don't know if this was in the U.S. There would be a warrant that he'd have to show them, but
yes.
It is not.
Yes. It is not in the U.S. If it was, there would be a warrant.
Yeah. But I guess in Scotland in the 70s, you could just, as a police officer, just be like, I'm parking my airplane here. Bring me the dinghy.
Bring me the dinghy.
He asked for the dinghy like 5 times, which is a boat, by the way, to get him to the shore. So anyway, this is a weird place that he's in.
It's a nice island, though.
It's pretty.
Without all the sacrifice, but...
It's pretty, yeah, real weird, though.
A lot of naked people.
Yeah, he checks into this inn. So okay, let's back up. The reason this police officer is on this island is because he's looking for a little girl. Someone called the police on the mainland.
Did we catch who called the police? Did they say?
I don't think they did.
Okay.
If they did, I missed it. Someone called the police to report that their daughter, I guess, by the name of Rowan Morrison. They say that a lot of times. So she's missing and they need help finding her. And it's, you know, the police. So they send this police officer who can also fly a plane, which is pretty cool. So anyway, he gets there and he starts investigating and everyone's being really weird. They just, you know, don't like outsiders probably. He checks into this inn and he's like one of those where he walks in and everyone stops talking and because there's a lot of people there because it's like a pub, and then they also have like an inn, so then he gets a room, and then all these people are just like singing about the landlord's daughter
Yes.
for a long amount of time,
And how easy she is.
yes, and she's right there and
Singing along. She's singing and dancing along.
and the landlord is right there, and you're like, okay, this is weird.
But the island encourages fertility.
Yes. So what we find out is part of their religion is all about fertility and all of that. So, and he discovers this the hard way by going outside, and there's all of these naked people just,
dancing and playing.
just going at it. Just,
Oh yeah, we're not at the dancing yet. It's all the sex.
yes.
The group sex.
Right. In the streets,
In the graveyard.
in the graveyard, in the fields, it is everywhere. And he is appalled because he is a good Christian man.
Good Christian man virgin.
Yes. And so which will be important later.
Yes.
We're not just, saying that, but so he goes back to his hotel room, and like a good Christian man, he prays. Because he's like, "Oh Lord, where have I gone?" So and then like throughout this whole thing is very strange because like they had the song with the landlord's daughter,
Yes.
and then after that she's just like in a room and she's singing
Naked.
and she's naked,
and
of course,
dancing.
and banging
on the wall.
on the wall, and you kind of get that she's like trying to get his attention.
Yes.
And but also talking to him while she's singing, and all of us at this point are looking at it like, hold on, is this a musical? It seems like a musical. Yeah. So the next day, being a good Christian man,
He does not fall into temptation.
no, he does not partake in what she was offering.
That will be his downfall.
Yes, believe it or not. Oh, this is such a weird movie. Everything is very strange. It just you saw it,
Yeah.
you know. If you didn't see it, it was just very strange.
Yeah.
So then he continues to investigate. Let me get out my notes and see what he did at this point.
Does he go to the school?
Oh, he wakes up the next morning and there's kids outside.
This is when the kids are dancing.
The
naked.
kids are dancing around the maypole.
Yes.
And they're singing because it's a musical.
Mm-hmm.
We have now determined it is a musical. And they're singing a song about the circle of life.
Oh, yeah.
And how, a seed will grow into a tree. And that kind of thing.
You got a man, and you got a woman, and then you got a seed, and then you got something else.
Yeah, and then you got a tree.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it's very much about the circle of life. I wrote in my notes plus 10 points for jaw harp. I wonder if Alex can add a sound effect of a jaw harp right here.
Thank you for that, Alex.
Yeah. That's a jaw harp. And that was in the movie, so good job. There was a guy playing it. Not many of those in many movies I've seen. The boys and the girls are educated separately.
Yeah, as they should be.
As they should be.
Mm-hmm.
And the girls are inside the classroom.
Learning about penises.
Mm-hmm. Because, the maypole
is a penis.
Is a penis, and they're learning about that. And so that's a thing. There's an empty desk in their classroom, but that doesn't belong to anyone. That's fine. That's
just there.
That's it. So the police officer, the sergeant, Sergeant Howie. I think it's Sergeant Howie.
I don't remember his name.
Anyway, he goes in there and is like, "Oh, there's an empty desk." It is Sergeant Howie. Wow.
Okay. Nice.
Hungry Howie. There's an empty desk, so that must be what belongs to the girl. But no one in the classroom has ever seen this girl.
This girl doesn't exist.
She doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that when he first gets onto the island and is greeted by the gaggle of old men, he shows them all a picture of the missing girl, and he's like, "Have you seen her?" And they all look at it for like a second and then pass it, and they say, "Nope, nope, nope."
Have not seen her.
She does not exist.
No one has seen her. No one's heard of her. But in like the grade book thing that the teacher has, the girl's name is there, and he's like, "This is clearly."
This is the girl.
This is the girl.
She exists.
And so then the teacher's like, we just need to talk outside. And then they get into a discussion about, he's like, why are you teaching these kids this? I am a Christian. And this is like one of the points where I guess we talked about this while we were watching it. I didn't think about the fact that the Church of England is the Church of England. And so, it's not kosher to be pagan, I guess, in Britain at this time. I don't know, maybe it still isn't. I don't know. We're trying to fact check this. But
it's definitely more accepted now.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm getting at, that I guess I didn't think about when watching this movie from 1973, is that he's basically like, as an officer of the law, he is like telling them that this is wrong, and all of us are just like, dude, you're here to find a missing child. You're not here to critique their beliefs, even though this is really weird. It's like, what are you doing? Well, that's like some context, like historical context, that I feel like we need with this too, because throughout the whole film, there's definitely a thing, like a theme of him being very Christian and them being very pagan and very about like the old gods or whatever. That's a term that they say. So that's a thing that they get into an argument about here, about why are you teaching these little girls about penises? That's strange. And there's other strange things that happen in the classroom, but the bottom line is that she is like, in our religion and our culture, we don't believe that a person is dead. We believe they have returned to the life force.
Yes.
And so she's like, we don't use that word, because he was like, oh, well, this girl is dead then. And she's like, we don't use that word around here, sir. It's like going back to like a kindergarten classroom and saying, the word like stupid or something. And they're like, oh, we don't use that word here. That was very much the energy I got from that. So he's like, okay, you're no help, even though people clearly know things. You're no help. So he's like, all right, well, if she has returned to the life force, where is her physical body? And then they have like, it's confusing, but she's buried in the churchyard, basically, in the cemetery. So he goes to the cemetery to see if he can find her body, because he's like, okay, well, if she was murdered, I can like have her body exhumed and examined by in an autopsy. We can find out how she was killed and this and that, doing his job as a police officer. And the cemetery is kind of strange. There's, a woman there breastfeeding her baby, and she's holding an egg. Like, that's a normal thing that you do. When you're feeding your baby, you always hold an egg. You
as a mother should know that.
I should know this. But I did not know that, so sorry. And he's upset by all the pagan paraphernalia, so he makes a little cross out of some sticks of wood and puts it on one of the headstones. Yeah, because he's a Christian.
Yes, they should be Christian.
Yeah, and so then he finds a grave that has a tree on it, and the gravekeeper guy, I guess.
Yes.
I guess that's what he is. He's there, and he's like, oh, that's Rowan's grave. And he's like, whose? And he's like, Rowan Morrison. He's like, well, thanks, man. You've been the most helpful out of anyone here. And it's got a rowan tree on it. Mm-hmm. Cue the theme song of the day, Rowan Tree. I don't remember how that goes.
I don't remember either.
It's a song. It's a tune though. It's a tune that we play. So
so there's imagine it.
Yeah, which is fitting because Rowan and Rowan Tree, and So he's like, all right, Got it. Got a grave. She's confirmed dead. Let me just exhume.
Oh, you forgot. Her umbilical cord is tied onto the tree.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that.
Yes.
There's a piece of skin, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's just like a normal thing we do. And it's just,
as you do.
Oh, so weird. But as you do. And so then he kind of goes around town, and there's, you know, a dude that has lots of, I guess he's like the Undertaker or something, but he has all those jars of organs.
Yes, and penises.
Yes, foreskins.
Foreskin.
So that's pretty weird.
You know, you're being really judgmental to their culture and society.
I guess.
I have a foreskin jar, okay?
I guess everyone does. Who doesn't? So from his perspective, let's say that from his perspective, that's pretty weird.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and he's pretty freaked out, but he's like, you know what? Do you, sir, remember this girl dying? And he's like, no help. He's like, no. Then he goes to like the court or whatever, the recorder, whatever she is, and he's like, do you have her death certificate? And she's like, I don't know who you're talking about. And he threatens her because she's pagan and weird and not helping him. And so finally she gives him like a book where they record all the people that died, but she's not there. So he's like, she's dead, but she didn't die. So what is going on? So he just needs to get to the bottom of it. He goes to visit Lord Summerisle, which, by the way, when you go to someone's house, don't you always say hi to the person whose house it is when you get there?
Nice. Just walk on in.
Like, he went to this island and everyone's like, this belongs to Lord Somerville. And he didn't even say hi.
Yeah.
Until, like, way later. He's like, I guess I have to go.
Just stayed the night at this guy's house.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
He didn't even say hi. He didn't even introduce himself or say what he wanted. But when he gets there, the butler says he's been expecting you.
Well, no shit.
I mean, obviously. And he's like, why would he be expecting me? I mean, I wonder. You're an outsider who's come to this island where no one ever goes, and everyone's talking about you. I'm sure they've told the master of the island, like,
some weird guy here.
He'll probably come say hi if he's not rude. And it kind of seems like he's being rude.
He's pretty rude. He's pretty disrespectful.
I was honestly surprised we spent this long into the movie without meeting Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
He's like a top-billed star. Why would you not have him like at the very beginning?
Couldn't afford it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The minutes. Too many minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And Christopher Lee wears a lot of kilts in this movie.
Yes, yes.
There's one scene where I don't know if it's this one when he meets him or it might be later, but I swear he's wearing like a Prince Charlie jacket, but it's like tucked into this kilt. I don't know what the deal is with that. Someone look it up, because I'm not going to do that. But we'll put a picture of it here for the people that are watching the video feed on Patreon. And look at that. What is that?
Is that a tuck?
It looks like this jacket is tucked in, and excuse me, I did not know that tucking jackets into a kilt was kosher. I did not know that.
Is it though?
I kind of don't think so, but I don't know. Maybe
I don't know. Yeah, like this movie was filmed in Scotland, so who are we to say?
By Scottish people, so maybe that was cool. Maybe Christopher Lee looks real cool right now.
Yeah,
I would not know. So yeah, he talks to. So apparent Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee, his character is Lord Summerisle. And Lord Summerisle's grandfather started this island to make money.
Yes.
Which obviously, I mean, as a red-blooded American, I can respect that. He was like, I thought this island would be really good because of the climate and whatever for farming. I just needed a lot of people who'd be willing to farm it. Mm-hmm. So I sold them this religion and was like, this is the religion of your ancestors. So believe in this religion. And as part of this religion, it says you got to work hard to make the harvest good. And they do that.
See, now I understand the end. Not that I missed the whole ending, but like he was like, tell them, and he was like, oh, what you talking about, man?
Yeah.
But he knew.
He knew. So this is the thing that, like, I don't know why the sergeant doesn't bring this up to the townspeople. Because they are all apparently under the impression that they're following the religion of their ancestors because that's what they do, right?
Yeah.
And like, who is the crown or the law or whatever to come in and tell them that their religion is wrong? And like, but it turns out they had, I mean,
but
maybe,
their religion is wrong.
I mean, maybe way back when they had been like this religion and he brought it back. I don't know. I'm just saying he admitted that his grandfathers did this because he wanted them to work hard for him so he could make money.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say it's weird, I'm saying like it's pretty weird. But then, you know, this Lord Summerall is like, oh, you know, but I was raised in this and I really believe this stuff. While there are dancing naked, like, teenage girls.
You know, I'd believe that too if I was creeped like that.
Outside his window. Yeah, I know. And he's, like, looking at them like, ah, yeah, this is good. Like,
that's how it should be. But don't you think it's dangerous to dance naked?
Yeah, the police officer's like, why are they dancing naked? And he's like, they're dancing over a fire. If you danced over a fire with clothes on, your clothes would catch on fire.
Duh.
Obviously.
Obvious Christopher Lee.
So, yeah. But he's like, you know what? If you want to exhume the body,
go for it.
Go for it. You have my permission.
Live your best life.
Do it. Because you think she's been murdered or something. Okay, so he goes back to the graveyard. Is like, finally, I'm gonna get something done
at night. It's got to be at night. He's got permission to do this, but
yeah,
we gotta wait till night.
You can't exhume a body during the daytime.
Yeah. Oh.
So, but what's in the coffin is
it's a bunny.
A bunny. It's a dead bunny. It's very sad.
So he takes the bunny to the Lord's house.
To the Lord's house.
And throws it at him.
And Lord Summerall is just there singing with a lady. They're having a good time. Mm-hmm. None of the women in this movie wear bras, by the way.
It's the 70s.
True. They were just free spirits, and especially on this island where
why would you?
I mean, they were
everybody's seen
anyway.
You naked.
Yeah. So he throws a bunny at him, and he just is kind of like, yeah, that's a bunny. That's Rowan. That's her. That's a girl you've been looking for. She's transformed into this bunny. And that's it. Case closed.
Yeah. Then he goes home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, at this point, he's just fed up with everything. And isn't this when he decides to leave?
I think it is.
Yeah.
He's going to get backup.
So, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, I would have gotten backup long before this. So he gets back in his plane. Oh, he gets in the dinghy.
He got in the dinghy. Dinghy takes him to the plane.
Gets in the plane. Tries to call on the radio. Radio doesn't work.
Plane doesn't work.
There's been some kind of sabotage, which obviously.
Duh. Can't let him leave after he's seen all of this.
No. What?
Get back in here.
So, yeah, he
gets back in the dinghy.
He gets back in the dinghy, goes back to the island. Oh, and then before he left, Lord Somerville made a cryptic comment about how, well, it's good you're not going to be here another day because tomorrow is May 1st and you wouldn't approve of what we do on May 1st or whatever he says. And so, but now he's going to have to stay for May 1st.
He's going to have to stay for May Day.
And it's May Day.
May Day.
And it's a really weird time.
Mm-hmm. I think it looks fun.
It's kind of cool. They are all in costumes. Yeah. All the villagers are in costumes, like animals and clowns. There's like a whole thing with. I get the feeling that it's very they probably made an effort to make it historically accurate because he reads about like what happens on May Day in like pagan societies, and there's dancing and there's this thing where they have this like procession and then they do a thing with swords.
So they're about to get ready for the procession and the innkeeper is supposed to be the clown, but then Mr. Howie smashes him on the head with a candlestick and takes his clown costume, so he's pretending to be the innkeeper.
Yeah, so everyone thinks he's the innkeeper, which makes sense because he has a mask and everything. Mm-hmm. So, but he also doesn't know anything about what to do.
Yeah.
And they're all like, you have to dance. Come on.
Throw the thing.
So he finds out that apparently on May Day, if the previous year's harvest wasn't good, that in order to make this year's harvest good, they make a human sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And traditionally it's a sacrifice apparently of a girl, like a young child. And so he's like, oh, maybe they are going to sacrifice Rowan. Up to this point, I thought we were assuming that she was dead. But maybe he's just like, oh, they're covering up for what they're about to do, which they're about to kill her.
Yes.
So he's like, I guess I'll stay anyway and try to stop them from killing her. So that's why he joins the procession and everything. And they get to Stonehenge. It's not actual Stonehenge, but it looks like Stonehenge. And they do their whole dance and everything. And they have the swords in like a star pattern. And every person who's there has to put their head in the middle of it. And while a bagpiper is playing...
The bagpiper is deciding who's going to die.
Yes. Bad bagpiping. But, maybe it was good for the 70s. I don't know. I'm pretty sure even back then they knew how to tune bagpipes. But I digress. This is a fun game you and your friends can play.
Yes,
at home. It's like Hot Potato, but with bagpipes and swords.
Yeah, you've got your star of swords, and then you peek your head through the middle of the star and see if the bagpiper stops, and you wait a second, and then if he doesn't, you get down and you leave.
And then the next person comes up and does that.
Yeah.
At some point, the bagpiper will stop playing, and I have never in my life wished a bagpiper would keep playing. No, but whenever the bagpiper stops playing, whoever is in the star gets the swish with the swords. They get their head cut off.
Yes.
Luckily, the person who gets their head cut off was wearing a big mask that stopped it, and everyone's like, "Yay!"
Yeah, there's a tall mask, so the head part of the mask got cut off,
but the actual person's head was not in there. It was just the head, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
I would do that. But it's kind of like, is that cheating? Like, I kind of expected them to be like, oh, you messed up.
A head got cut off.
It's true. It was a head. So that's a fun game that they do. And no one dies, which is good.
Yeah.
Then they keep, doing their thing and hanging out. They go to the ocean. This is where they go to the ocean, right?
Yeah. That's where they go to the beach.
They go to the beach. And they have some casks of wine or beer or something.
Something soapy.
They brought some kegs, but instead of drinking what's in the kegs, like good Scots people, they break open the kegs and dump the contents into the ocean.
Gonna get the fishies drunk. That's not good for the environment.
I know.
0 out of 10.
It's like the Boston Tea Party, but with beer. That's so sad. And then they're like, all right, well, this was our sacrifice to help the harvest for next year. And
that was for the sun god.
For the sun god,
yes.
Yeah. But for the moon god was the other one?
No, the other one was a growing nature god, yeah.
Okay.
Fertility god.
Some other god.
Not the sun god.
No.
That one's been covered with the beer.
Sun god likes beer. The other nature god does not. The other nature god likes people. So they got to kill someone. And lo and behold, Rowan is there.
Chained up, ready to be sacrificed.
Yeah, it's the girl he's been looking for, which he knows because he has a picture, and he's like, oh, that's her. So he's been a fool the whole time, dressed as a clown. And then he, starts beating people up and goes and saves her. And they start running through this cave and then up to this mountain. And then it turns out
she betrayed him.
Yeah, she wasn't really in danger at all. They didn't want to sacrifice her. They wanted to sacrifice him.
And why?
Because he's a fool. Because he was dressed as a fool, right? Yes. What was the other thing?
A virgin.
He's a virgin, yeah.
He comes in the name of the king.
Right, because he's a police officer in the name of the king.
There was a fourth thing.
He comes willingly.
Yes.
Because he came to the island because he was looking for a girl, so he was willingly coming to the island. And they're like, this is perfect. And he's, there's all kinds of stuff about like how he's a Christian and he's not cool with this.
Yeah, he just starts spouting his religion. They're just like,
And they're
but
like,
that's fine.
Yeah, but like whatever.
We're doing our thing right now.
Yeah, like they're both basically like, that's not real. And then the pagan people are like, we're gonna kill you.
It's time to get in the Wicker Man.
It's time to get killed. And then he's like, well, what if, because their reasoning is, okay, sacrificing like plants and beer and stuff is good, but sacrificing animals is better than that.
Mm-hmm.
But sacrificing a child is even better than that.
But
a
virgin, willing man, king, fool.
That's the best.
Tippity top.
Yeah. And then he's like, well, what if it doesn't work? Like, what if you sacrifice me and your harvest is still bad?
But it's gonna work.
But it's gonna work. And he's like, yeah, but then you'd have to kill your lord. And the Lord's like, it's gonna work. It's fine. And I think that's the point at which he's like, why don't you tell them?
Tell them it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's gonna work.
Tell them about why they practice this religion. It's because of your grandpa. Like, he doesn't say that. Why doesn't he say that?
Money.
He should be like, it's because of your grandfather wanting money. He taught them this religion.
That does not get me money. Oh, you think sacrifice guy should say that?
I think I think the main character, what's his name? Howie. I think Howie should say that.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't.
He's too busy spouting about the Lord Jesus Christ, Lord.
Yeah, I mean, throughout this entire time, he's known that about their religion, and he's not told anyone. Like,
he is the fool.
He is a fool.
Mm-hmm. They got that right.
And then just like in the Nicolas Cage movie, they throw him into a giant wooden man, a wicker man.
Yes.
And it's got other animals in there too. I don't know if that was in the other movie, but
I think that there were.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
So there were other animals in there that they also burned.
Mm-hmm.
Which
as you do with your sacrifices.
That's what you do. You gotta load as much in there as you can get in there.
Yeah, because it's a large Wicker Man. You can't just let all that space go to waste.
Really, they're like, oh, we made it too big. What have you guys done? Just shove some chickens and some goats in there. And they show this close-up of this super cute little baby, this little calf.
Yeah.
This little baby cow. And it's super
roasted.
cute. And it just gets roasted. And then they don't even eat it either.
Yeah, no, see, that's a waste.
That is just...
But it's a sacrifice, so the gods are eating it.
That's true. It just burns up and it's, it's done.
Yeah.
That's it. So he gets burned in this Wicker Man. While all of the village people
are swaying and smiling and singing so
and
happily.
dancing. Not the village people, the band, but all of the people are singing and dancing. It's a great time. And that's the end.
That's the end.
That's it. Yeah. Long story short,
don't be a virgin. That's the moral of today's story.
Because we were saying...
Have sex with the dancing lady.
We were saying, like, the innkeeper's daughter was trying to seduce him, and had he gone along with it, he would not have met their criteria at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time... They had planned all of this from the very beginning.
They had to make sure it was like a pure truth, I guess. Like if you didn't go for it, then...
Okay, so I guess that's their test.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Did you enjoy this movie?
I wouldn't watch it again.
Same. Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch more Christopher Lee movies because I feel like, I don't know, I think they did him dirty with that wig.
What is normal? Because it's got Palpatine. Oh, I guess there's like a Palpatine with hair.
He's a Count Dooku.
Count Dooku. Oh, jeez. Oh, how embarrassing.
We'll cut that out,
Yes. Don't let me look like a dummy.
Count Dooku. That's normal. I guess I didn't know what he looked like in the 70s, but man, it was... It kind of makes me want to watch the new Wicker Man movie, because I know you've seen it. I haven't seen it, but...
You should watch it.
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
See, that looks normal. That looks like real hair.
Yeah. But see, that's not Lord Somerville hair. It's not the vibe.
That's not the vibe.
That's
yeah.
not the vibe.
The kilts were interesting. It was interesting that, like, a lot of people wore kilts.
It's Scotland.
Yeah. And I'm curious, like, was that a normal thing for 70s Scotland? Or were they like, it's Scotland. People here wear kilts. But maybe it was normal. I don't know. I'm just that jacket situation.
With the tuck.
It had so many buttons. Oh, we have to find that scene now. We have to look at it. Because I don't...
Look at all those buttons. You can't even button that.
There's like a lot of... Yeah. They're all the way... They're not even buttons. They're all the way up.
I think those ones are buttons.
To the collar. Is that just like a...
I think that's like
stud or something?
I don't know. What are you doing, man?
And like, this is not... Okay, so if you were wearing a Prince Charlie jacket, you'd see the top. Like, so there's the belt, but then it's like... You know he's wearing a white shirt underneath, and there's no space.
I was hoping the brightness would help, but it's not. It's definitely tucked in.
It's definitely tucked in, right? That's what it looks like. First of all, whoever in any situation would tuck a jacket into any sort of... Anything. It's a jacket. It goes on the outside. It's not even like... Yeah, I don't know who did this. Who was this normal? Was this 70s normal?
Yeah, this is actually normal and you're being like super insulting right now.
I'm so upset by it. Like, I don't know why. It's just like, because I feel like it wouldn't look bad if it was just, because you can see the belt, you know, and that's fine if you just didn't tuck in the jacket. It was almost like, see, not even people who don't know how to wear kilts, not even they tuck in jackets. Like, look at Prince Charlie jacket.
We'll have to have Kevin come on
and critique this outfit. I feel like it looks similar to that because it's super high, you know?
Yeah.
But
it's definitely not tucked.
Yeah.
And there's not enough buttons.
Yeah, it's like so many buttons. It's almost like that.
That one's
right?
pretty.
And that's a Prince Charlie.
But it's not tucked.
It's not tucked, though. And you can tell. Man, you can tell that it's not tucked. I'm just... I know this is a ridiculous thing to be talking about. But, like... It's a pipe band podcast. What do you want? These are the things that we see in movies.
That's the movie.
That's it. Yeah, so we've digressed into just looking up pictures of kilt jackets, trying to find anyone explaining why it's tucked into the kilt. That alone may be worth watching this movie. Probably not, but I don't think it was a bad movie necessarily.
It was fine.
It was just, there was a lot of, you know, it was just confusing more than anything. So yeah, if you think that sounds like fun, go ahead and watch it. Otherwise, let us know if you've seen any like pipe band related movies and were they good, or have you seen like bagpipes or kilts in movies, and have you ever had a moment like this where you're just beside yourself because someone tucked a jacket into a kilt and filmed it and put it on the silver screen? Okay, I'm done. I'll stop now. I'll stop now. Okay, yeah, that's it.
That's all.
That's all you get.
Bye.
Happy October. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed this show, then support us on Patreon for exclusive content, as well as the video of us recording this. We'll have special exercises we'll be writing, as well as tips and tricks with tenor drumming and other instruments to come. Subscribe to us on YouTube for some tenor tutorials and possibly other tutorials later on. And like us on Facebook at Podband Pipecast.